based on the novel A Long Walk to Water. Enjoy. The juices dripped and sizzled. A delicious smell filled the air. Finally, they couldn't wait 1 second longer. There's only enough for each boy to have a few bites, but oh how delicious those bites were.
Crack, pop, pop, crack, everybody run! Nobody, nothing, they had left him, he was alone. Overhead a jet plane veered away like a sleek, evil bird. What are they going to do to us? Where is my family? What will I do? Where will I go? The words repeated themselves 1,000 times in his head.
In the fading light, he could see the faces of those nearest to him. 2 of the men had patterns of V-shaped scars on their foreheads, Dinka patterns. Could his family be among them? Another mouth to feed is already hard enough to find food. Determined not to lag behind, not to complain, not to be any trouble to anyone. The days became a never-ending walk. Salva's feet kept time with the thoughts in his head. Where is my family? Where is my family?
Salva turned. His mouth fell open in amazement, but he could not speak. Salva! Uncle must know about the war and fighting. Maybe he will know where my family is.
I am sorry, Uncle said, quietly, your friend, Lion. Mario sleeping. It had taken him away, leaving only a few splotches of blood near the path. Salva, we will soon be moving out of Lion Country. Everything will be all right. Do you see that group of bushes? Uncle said, pointing. You need only to walk as far as those bushes. Can you do that, Salva, Maylin, Arik?
No one in the group had eaten anything for 2 days. Their water was nearly gone. Then they heard loud voices, and they turned and saw men coming towards them. The men began shouting, "Sit down! Hands on your head! All of you, now!" Everyone in the group sat down at once. Salva was afraid of the weapons, and he could see that the others were too. The man told Uncle to get up. 2 of the other men took Uncle to a tree several yards away. 3 shots rang out, then the men ran away.
Mary and Uncle were no longer by his side, and they never would be again. But Salva knew that both of them would have wanted him to survive, to finish the trip and reach the insane refugee camp safely. It was almost as if they had left their strength with him to help him on his journey. There is no one left to help me. They think I am weak and useless. Salva lifted his head proudly. They are wrong and I will prove it. At the camp, Salva had never before seen so many people in one place at the same time. How could there be so many people in the world? More than hundreds, more than thousands, thousands upon thousands. What was it Uncle had said during that first terrible day in the desert? Do you see that group of bushes? You need only to walk as far as those bushes. I need only to get through the rest of this day, he told himself. This day and no other.
Six years later, they are going to close the camp. Everyone will have to leave.
Rumors told Salva the Ethiopian government was near collapse. The refugee camps were run by foreign aid groups, but it was the government that permitted them to operate. The orders were not just to leave camp, but to leave Ethiopia. They are driving us back to Sudan, Salva thought. They will force us across the river. Salva did not know how long he was in the water. It felt like hours. It felt like years. The walking began.
Crowds of other boys followed him. Nobody talked about it, but by the end of the first day, Sal would become the leader of a group of about 1,500 boys. Some were as young as 5 years old. One step at a time, one day at a time. Just today, just this day to get through. More than 1,200 boys arrived safely. It took them a year and a half.
IFO Refugee Camp, 1992 through 1996. Everyone was always hungry and there was never enough food. There was nothing to do but wait. Wait for the next meal, for news of the world outside the camp. Michael was an aid worker from a country called Ireland. "You seem interested in learning English," he said. "How'd you like to learn to read?" The whole rest of the day, Salva went around saying A, B, C, mostly to himself, but sometimes aloud. A rumor was spreading through the camp. The United States. Sometimes he felt like he was being torn in two by the hoping and the not hoping. "Salva, come quickly," Michael said. "Your name is on the list today." Salva was going to New York. He was going to America.
The Lost Boys. That is what they were being called in America. The boys who had lost their homes and families because of the war and had wandered lost for weeks or months at a time before reaching the refugee camps. There was one clear moment when he was given new clothes. Salva's arms were piled high with new clothes: underwear, socks, sneakers, a pair of long pants, a t-shirt, and a long-sleeve shirt to wear on top of it. And he was to wear all these clothes at the same time. What if my family isn't there? What if they change their minds? Salva took a deep breath. A step at a time, he reminded himself. Just this fight to get through for now. Salva winked away tears and took his first step into a new life in America.
The year is now 2003. "My father," he shouted. "They found my father." Salva stood at the foot of one of the beds in the crowded clinic in southern Sudan. "I am your son. I am Salva." Maywan Dutt sprinkled water on his son's head, the gentle way of blessing someone who is lost and is found again. He learned more about his father's illness. Years of drinking contaminated water had left Maywan Dutt's entire digestive system riddled with guinea worms. On the plane back to the United States, an idea came to him. What he may be able to do to help the people of Sudan. Could he do it? One step at a time, one problem at a time. Just figure out this one problem. Salva moved towards his goal.
Southern Sudan, 2008. There was little weight going. There was only heat, the sun already baking the air even though it was long before noon. It would take her half the morning if she didn't stop on the way. Heat, time, and thorns.
Naya took the hollow gourd that was tied to the handle of the plastic container. She untied it, scooped up the brown muddy water, and drank. Glancing at her younger sister, Naya did not say what she was thinking. That Akir, who was only 5 years old, was too small and walked too slowly. Naya sat on the floor. She reached out and took her little sister's hand. Akir did not seem to notice. She lay curled on her side, hardly moving, silent, except for an occasional whimper. Naya knew many people who suffered from the same illness. For the elderly and small children, the illness could be dangerous. Unable to hold anything in their systems, many of them starved to death, even with food right in front of them.
Two men emerged from the jeep. The chief came out of his house to greet the visitors. What are they talking about? Naya asked her brother Deb. Something about water, Deb replied. Water? The nearest water was the pond, of course, half a morning's walk away. The first man called out to his friend in a language Naya did not understand. The friend answered in the same language, but as he walked back toward the group, he translated for the chief, and Naya could hear him. This is the spot, halfway between the two largest trees. We will find water here. The earth was dry and rock hard. Naya felt puzzled and doubtful. How could there be water in such a place?
An iron giraffe. A red giraffe that made very loud noises. The giraffe was a tall drill that had been brought to the village by the two men who had visited earlier. They had returned with a crew of 10 more men in 2 trucks, one hauling the giraffe drill along with other mysterious equipment, and the other loaded with plastic pipe. Naya thought it was funny. You had to have water to find water. The boss would encourage the workers and laugh and joke with them. If that didn't work, he would talk to them earnestly and try to persuade them. For 3 days, the air around Naya's home was filled with the sound of a drill. On the 3rd afternoon, whoosh! A spray of water shot high in the air. Naya waited her turn in line. She was holding a plastic bottle. The leader of the workers brought out a big sign made of blue canvas. Uncle told everyone what the sign said. In honor of West Brookfield Elementary School, this is the name of a school in America. The students at the school raised the money for this well to be dug. The water was delicious. It wasn't warm or muddy. It was cool and clear. The well would change their lives in so many ways. Naya caught sight of the crew leader. Deb said, "That man, the boss of the workers, you know he is Dinka?" The Dinka were enemies and had been for hundreds of years. Why would a Dinka bring water to us? She walked over to where the man was standing. She found her voice. Thank you for bringing water." The man smiled. "What is your name?" "I am Naya. I am happy to meet you, Naya. I am Salva."
Salva and his story are true. The book is based on his life. Naya's story is fictional, but the water crisis in these villages is just what we depicted. Naya's character portrays the struggle that people in South Sudan still face today. In our performance, we had the banner state that West Brookfield Elementary School raised the money for the well. We changed this from Elm Street School because it is our hope that through donations toward the Iron Draft Challenge, we will be able to provide help to girls like Naya and families like Salva's.
If you haven't already donated, please consider contributing tonight. We have placed cans on a few of the tables for this purpose. Our funds will be submitted tonight.